Hey, what's up everyone? Morey Croson here, and today we're going to be going over the #1 secret in order to improve your acceleration, and we're going to start the video right now. This is the newest edition of the Performance Lab. Reach your individual goals. You don't want to just talk about straight line speed. We also want to talk about your ability to be quick. We break down your video. Let's make you into the quarterback I know you can become. All right, so this is a really great topic in my opinion, just because I do think this ends up really making a big difference when it comes to how you're able to accelerate and understanding some of the key principles when it comes to acceleration. And really that goes into understanding deceleration. So I know that's not as pretty of a topic, so we're gonna go with really utilizing understanding acceleration to therefore help you, or sorry, deceleration to help you with acceleration, but it's also great in injury prevention. There's a lot of really great things that come from being able to understand how to decelerate, right? And so what I have wrapped up here, or I have my Raptor here so you can see really both sides of the running form here. And you know, some of these principles are things that I've talked about in the past, but maybe not able to really see in, you know, slow motion, right? This is extra slow motion. And really and the most important thing is when you're landing, you got to be able to maintain that difference from the ground to your heel, right? You can't end up landing with your feet too flat. Okay, and then as you're landing and as you're absorbing, you really want to be able to land and allow that heel to be going out to the side, right? And this ends up being critical, right? You have to understand what are the biomechanics when it comes to acceleration. There's so many people that I see that I work with when it comes to speed, and they do simple things like this incorrectly, right? As they're landing, the heel's going inwards, the toes going outwards, and also not being able to maintain that heel off the ground. And that just makes it so you spend more time on the ground, right? We talk a lot about how foot contact time matters, and when it comes to being able to spend the least amount of time on the ground, you have to be able to maximize when your toe hits the ground and when the front part of your foot hits the ground, not wasting that energy and allowing that heel to go down, but instead being able to absorb and then push right back off, right? And part of that ends up going into how are you going through all the principles of deceleration. So as I'm landing here, you can see my weight shifting onto my right leg, right? You can see how my weight is already starting to shift over as I'm going through and landing. And then I initiate that landing a little bit more on the outside part of the foot, but then control the landing. And everybody's gonna be a little bit different, right? There's a certain balance point that we all have. And this is why I like to do single leg RDLs with people, is because it allows you to understand where that position is. Where do you absorb force and where do you absorb your landing to be able to then decelerate and then push right back off. And you can see what happens is that as you first decelerate, your foot and your heel kind of goes outward, and then as you go back into acceleration, right, that's really the point of this video, is better understanding how to accelerate. You can see that I go into really my heel coming inwards and getting all the way up onto my big toe, right? And in order to be able to utilize all that force, I have to be able to, again, control that deceleration, right? If I am not able to control the deceleration, if I'm not allowed to have my weight shift onto my right foot or onto either foot and allow my heel to stay up and be able to absorb from the outside part of the foot and come back into the inside, and really, you know, don't want to get too far outside. You want to be able to maintain kind of an even balance point, right? If you can, as best that you can, land and decelerate through the same kind of point of your foot that you then accelerate out of, that'll just make it all quicker, right? That's what Usain Bolt does. Usain Bolt lands at about the same point of where he pushes off, which is why he has a .08 foot contact time, because he's a master of being able to land. Now, some of the things that help you, right, is as you're going through, if you can get into, you know, this really big, it's called adduction, where your knee's coming a little bit more across, then you can go in and you can see how my leg is moving outwards here. This helps in making it so now as I'm absorbing, I have a little bit more momentum into the actual foot contact, so then I'm not having to really generate a lot of force off the ground, right? So when I'm landing here, you can see I am actually generating force here, okay? Generating force. So now when my foot hits the ground, it could just be a rebound. when you see people that end up spending too much time on the ground, what they're doing is as their foot hits the ground, they're really not creating enough force before their foot hits the ground. So now they have to drop the heel, and it takes a lot longer time for them to be able to really generate the force to then be able to push off. Where for me, I'm working on really rebounding. So I'm just like immediately when my foot hits the ground, I'm absorbing that force and then pushing right back off. Right? And so that just ends up being a difference of how is force being created. Are you creating force when your foot is, before that initial contact or at initial contact? If you can generate force before initial contact, that allows for the rebound. If you can't do that, then when you go and your foot hits the ground, now you have to generate all the force to be able to push off, which is again going to take more time. And we're talking about hundredths of a second, right? If I can get a hundredth of a second faster on every single step, and let's say, for the 40, I always tell the people this, like you're going to be running top speed for about, 15 steps, right? For the 40, okay? Maybe 12 to 15 steps. If I can get you a hundredth of a second faster on each one of those top speed steps, that's a 0.12 improvement, okay? So now that goes from you running 4.6 to running 4.48, right? And that's just the reality of it, right? You can get 1/100th of a second faster, and that's a huge difference, right? That's the difference of millions of dollars when it comes to the NFL, okay? That's the difference between you getting a Division I scholarship or not. Hundredths of a second, right? So it really matters how you are able to decelerate. And this goes into how you go into your top end speed, right? If you don't have great deceleration mechanics and acceleration mechanics when you start, then when you get to top speed, you're not going to be able to maximize that part of your running. So you have to be able to understand how to get all this. And really, when it comes to acceleration, you can make much more improvement than just a couple hundredths of a second. So very, very important part of developing your top speed. I really hope you guys take the time and watch this and understand it and watch it a few times, right? Watch this information, absorb this information, take notes, implement it into your training, okay? That's really the important part, is to take this information, implement it. Okay, don't just watch this video, hang out, and then just go to the next video. Implement it. Really take it serious, because the people that take it serious are going to be able to make the biggest results, the biggest changes, and be able to run the fastest. So, as always, guys, thanks for watching. If you like the information, click that thumbs up down below. Subscribe to the channel. If you have any questions, comments, or recommendations, you can leave those down below. Check out the 28-day free speed program. We got a 40-yard dash program. We got everything that you guys need. We got speed breakdowns. I mean, I would just want to give you guys as much content as I possibly can in order to help you in improving your speed. So looks like there's somebody that just walked here into the place looking to get faster. So again, thanks for watching, and we'll talk to you soon.